Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
Well, the Dubray bookstore, which is celebrating 50 years in business this year, is set to open its first store in the southeast. Against the ever-present threat of Amazon, the brand has defied the odds and is continuing to grow by opening new stores across the country. Ahead of the opening of its new store in Waterford, its general manager, Maria Dickinson, joins us now to discuss the story behind this successful brand. Maria, many people believe that books have become a victim of the digital age that we live in. So are we witnessing the death of the book?
Good morning, Carl. Thank you very much for having me on. I mean, that's certainly been a question that's been put to me in various contexts over my time in the trade, but really the physical books business couldn't be in better health than it is at the moment. Nielsen's Irish book scan is currently recording its 9th consecutive year of growth. So the Irish market is in fantastic health and definitely going from strength to strength there. I think particularly now we're all so engaged with our screens, through work, through social media. People really relish the time spent with a good book and the relaxation it gives you and the concentration it gives you. And COVID actually as well brought a real bump to book sales. I think when people were home and looking for solace, looking for diversion, looking for entertainment, the book trade it was a worrying time, but really there was great engagement with books in the book business. And we're very lucky in Ireland with we've got great creative publishers and great Irish authors. So far from dead.
That's good to hear. Now, bookstores, of course, have weathered many storms over the years, but is it fair to say that Amazon is probably the biggest challenge that stores have had to face?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't say to you that Amazon wasn't our largest competitor. They are a formidable competitor across the globe. I suppose over the last few years, Amazon's own focus has changed somewhat, from being, particularly known as a book retailer to selling a far, far broader range of products. Yourself, when you go in now, you have to wade through the other categories to get to the book category. And what I would say to your listeners is shop around. I mean, Amazon have they have the reputation of being cheaper, but most Irish booksellers will have different deals on different titles and, most importantly, will be reflecting what Irish readers want to read.
Maria, how can a store like Dubray compete with Amazon?
Where we really come into our own, Carl, is in the store experience and the recommendation. What we really found after COVID when we opened our doors again, people just flooded back in and they were desperate for that interaction and that recommendation and that kind of serendipity you can only get in a bookshop. Yes, Amazon will give you your algorithm of you like, such and such a crime novel and here's your next crime novel. But if a bookseller knows you really well, they'll say, yes, you like that, but here, try this genre. I read this and I loved it. Real readers love that kind of engagement, those chats and finding something a little bit different or a personal recommendation. So it's that one-to-one experience that you get in a bookstore and that our booksellers love to provide in Dubray, that really I think means that bookshops will always have a place, particularly in Ireland. I think it's a very important dynamic to the Irish consumer there.
So provide us with an insight into the experience which a customer can enjoy in a Dubray bookstore.
Oh, well, thank you for asking. We pride ourselves on a few things. We always try to hire staff who are really passionate about books. That's first and foremost, is people who love their books. Doesn't matter what kind of book, it can be in any genre or across the genres, but people who have a real passion and a real enjoyment for it. And secondly, we try very hard to hire people who love talking to people, who love engaging with customers and having the chats and making the recommendations. So it's that kind of, enthusiasm and warmth and expertise that we try very hard to provide in our stores. We always, we pride ourselves on our range as well. So in store we'll have, all of the new bestsellers and also, if you're looking for your first aid book or your baby names book or, we always try to have a good consistent range there and lots of recommendations. When you come into a Dubray store, you'll see, the little handwritten staff recommends cards, which are unique to each store. That's not a central thing that we do. That's the individual booksellers can recommend those. So, we welcome everybody into the store. We can recommend anything from, kids books to non-fiction to fiction, or, any niche that you might be interested in or looking for help with. So everybody's welcome. Welcoming is a very important thing.
Is there an ability for someone that's a self-published author to have their book stocked by you?
Yeah. Now, I mean, they're an awful lot, and we have to, we generally ask that, authors do a little bit of promotion or someone that that they can readers can find out about their book. So that would be an important thing, piece of, I suppose, advice for a self-published author to bring it to us. But yeah, if you bring it into the store, or they can pass it on to our central team to look after that. I know there's actually an interesting, with the opening in Waterford, there's a Waterford Writers Anthology that caught my eye there a few weeks ago.
And Maria, how important are in-store events for Debray?
Yeah, we do a lot of events and launches across our stores, and we really enjoy them, to be honest. They're great, a great way for customers to come in and get to know us. Customers absolutely love to meet their favourite authors. So whether it's a reading or a signing, or over the years we've done quite a lot of children's events. We do a lot around World Book Day when we have classes in, and that is lovely because you see, the kids who are just absolutely starstruck by meeting an author, meeting a favourite author, and they get so wrapped up in the story. So the community is a very important part of a bookshop.
And how do you categorise the different types of customer that enters a Debray store?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I suppose first and foremost, we try very hard to cater for everybody. So, as I said, everybody's welcome, and we will, try to, advise and be knowledgeable for anybody who needs our help. I suppose if I was to describe, a lot of our customers would be very curious. They're curious about the book world. They're curious about the world in general. A lot of them would be looking for, interesting non-fiction, fiction, or fiction that will take them to new places. So that sort of curiosity and sort of outlook is a common thread. Some book buyers tend to divide into two groups. There are people who love to come in and chat and tell you what they're reading and look for advice. And then we have customers who are much more introverted and just like to come in and shop quietly and not be bothered. And we're very cognizant of that too. We don't want to be kind of hassling people. Some people just love coming into bookshops as a haven, as a quiet place to sort of reflect and have a good browse. So we're very happy to facilitate that too.
And what categories are experiencing growth today?
Well, it's been a fascinating few years in the book trade in terms of trends. You've probably heard about BookTok, which has been an absolute phenomenon and has been lovely to see because it's really driven reading in teens. I haven't seen anything quite like it since, do you remember the Twilight books that came out probably 10, 15 years ago, which got a whole swathe of teenagers reading? BookTok's kind of had the same effect. So you get these clusters of teenagers coming in, and they'll all buy the same book, and they'll all go off and read it and compare notes and so on. And what's lovely about BookTok is it's very organic. It's individuals recommending books themselves. And that's probably led, I think, to other, we've seen quite a boost in fantasy reading as well, which I think has come from there. And then I'm closer to home. It was the Irish Book Awards this week, which is a fantastic celebration of Irish writing and Irish reading, I guess. But you really have to call out the success of Irish crime in the last few years. There have been some fantastic Irish crime writers, particularly female Irish crime writers. So you have the likes of Liz Nugent, whose Strange Sally Diamond has just been absolutely phenomenal seller this year, and one of our Christmas bestsellers, actually, first-time novelist, but my goodness, she knows her craft, is Mary Cassidy's Body of Truth. Because she was the state pathologist, so she really, she literally knows where the bodies are buried. And there's just a huge swathe of very talented Irish crime writers, which we're very, very proud to support. We really are blessed with our local Irish writers, and people are very, very keen to support Irish writing, Irish publishing, particularly at Christmas. It really comes to the fore. We see people coming in and they're looking for Irish recommendations, which is brilliant. People are very supportive of the business.
And of course, Debray has enjoyed significant growth in recent years in the Irish market, with new stores opening in Cork, Dublin and now in Waterford. But what's the reason for the expansion?
Debray was originally a family business, and for a long time we had 8 stores. And in 2019, we decided to open one more in Liffey Valley, which was incredibly well received. We really were delighted both by the reaction to it and how well it thrived. And so far, whenever we've opened a new shop, People have loved what we do. So it's a great position to be in, particularly having had the kind of blight of COVID in the middle of it. We were really worried that would put a stop to our gallop, but we bravely went out after that and opened what I was reminding the team, we opened two stores in the space of a week in late 2021.
Wow.
No, we're delighted to be opening in Waterford now. That's been on our list of places we'd like to be opening. So it's wonderful. It's been a hard old week emptying boxes and getting everything ship shape and ready. But we're delighted to be open for Christmas. And of course, Waterford has such a thriving art scene and literary scene. So we're really, really pleased and proud to be part of that.
And Maria, have you many more stores in mind across the country over the coming years?
Well, we're certainly still of a mind to grow where we can. I mean, obviously, it needs to be the right site. It needs to be the right space. We need to feel that there's space for us, if you like. But we'd certainly be happy to look at other options should they come up. Yeah.
And what does your criteria look like?
We look for a sort of certain degree of footfall in the store. We generally, there's a certain sort of size and space of store as well that works particularly for us. And to be honest, the Waterford store would exactly typify that. We normally go for about 2,000 square feet and enough space to showcase everything that we want to do, but not be so big that it feels impersonal. That's very important to us. So finding the right size of unit is very important. And where we have a DeBrayBooks.ie, our website, it's kind of interesting that it's interesting to see where customers know us and are shopping online where we don't have a store. That we used to have a lot of customers shopping online from Cork, so that was a nice open door for us, if you like, in terms of encouraging us to open there.
Maria, finally, in terms of the evolution and innovation of the business model going forward, where do you see scope for that?
I mean, I think you mustn't ever rest on your laurels in business, and we'd always be very keen to be sort of looking at our offer and doing different events and initiatives. We celebrated our 50th anniversary this year, actually, which was absolutely fantastic, and it was really interesting looking back over the different trends, the different things we've done over the years, and how we've tried to build the business both in terms of its physical footprint and the initiatives that we have. I think online, as you identified, is increasingly a big part of the business, and we're working very hard at the moment to make sure that our website reflects the same store experience. So you're getting those quirky recommendations, and obviously it's very important to have a good sort of customer experience and user experience online, but to get that really good quality content and knowledge coming through the website as well. We introduced a few years ago a book subscription, which has been very successful. And I know there are a few things like that in the market. So ours is called a Reader's Year. And most people buy it as a gift, and you get a book delivered to your door once a month over the course of that year. And I can see more sort of bespoke gifts and initiatives like that being important to the trade. People are really looking for points of difference, points of interest, and so on. So that I can see those kind of initiatives and events. We'd love to hold more children's events, more teen events, and so on, to make sure that customers are really getting that personal contact as well.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Maria Dickinson, the General Manager of DeBray, and we wish Maria and the team every success with their new store, and hopefully will be the first of many across the Southeast.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.